Hi, everyone. So, welcome again. And this is another little interview in advance of the very exciting book launch. It's a co authored collaboration with a bunch of amazing women and a man called Soul Mission. This is the book Soul Mission Leaders Ushering in the New Earth. And I just thought it would be fantastic to get to know my fellow co authors and find out what they're writing about. I know we've all been on these incredible journeys. And so I'm joined by Lelia. It's interesting because my middle name, I don't know if I told you this is my middle name, but I pronounce it Layla. So that's
Oh, wow,
this
I didn't know.
Layla. Yeah, yeah. So
So great.
welcome. Thank you for having a chat.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell me, what is secrets are you sharing in your chapter in the book? What has your soul mission been?
Yeah, so in the book, I'm curious to know also the experience for you, how it was to write it. For me, it was kind of like in 2 days, I wrote it all. I had like
Mm,
channeling ideas from the universe. It all felt aligned, and maybe it went so fast because the experience that I describe in the book happened actually last summer, so it was very close to me.
oh yeah.
And my chapter is dedicated to a woman that has a busy lifestyle, that is
Mm,
always in the do hamster wheel, and is looking for more balance, is looking for a different way to work,
mm,
or to feel to feel a different energy behind her actions. And I'm speaking in my chapter about the power and the potential that lies in taking breaks, in slowing down, in
mm,
having the time to reset, to do activities that fulfill you with joy, that make you laugh. And I know so many people believe or think like, well, when I'm not doing anything, then I'm losing or I'm wasting my time. And
mm,
I need to be active in order to make progress in my business. And I used an example from a real life, from my personal experience, having the intention behind that my story will serve like an evidence for every logical mind that wants to see the evidence of the value and the power that is in slowing down. Because in those sacred breaks, as I call them, we open up a portal where we connect our creativity, we zoom out a little bit from the hustling and we start to see different perspectives, we start to receive different solutions, things that we didn't even see before. We suddenly have those new ideas in our head, and those ideas, those insights that come in those break moments might propel your business even farther away. You can have a great breakthrough, uh, bigger than and beyond your logical mind, beyond what you could create while you are in the do hamster wheel.
mm,
And in the story that I share, I actually let people know uh, what happened for me when I slowed down, when I stopped my business for 3 months, and I showed them the power of being more, of slowing down. So this is what my chapter is about.
yeah.
And I'm really curious to know also on your side.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's so interesting. I was talking to one of the other co-authors, and it sounds like we've all kind of found a way in a similar path as well. This kind of getting away from that old paradigm of having to do and be productive in order to feel valuable and valid, and instead, and I love your expression of this kind of sacred pause, this sacred portal of that opens up all of the magic
Yeah.
and the mystery. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think we have this huge opportunity. I feel at a global level to finally shift that energy behind our actions, because
Mm,
we are here, and we are meant to work. We are meant to express our values, our gifts, the things that we are good at, and that to become our work. But the energy behind doesn't have to be stress and pressure. And so many times we feel safe only in that energy.
mm,
And I think we are now in a moment globally where we have the chance to finally break that, to finally shift that energy, to go at work and be an energy of having fun, or being in an energy of curiosity or creation. What can I create? What can I change? How can I enjoy this? And we can do that. And it begins with those little breaks, with those little shifts that we are doing in our personal time. The more we do it, we create a habit, and we can also bring it in our work when we are working. So there is no separation ultimately.
Yeah, I love that. And maybe before I share about what I'm doing, I'm dying to know what happened last summer. Is that something that you can share, or are you saving it for the book?
I'm saving it for the book, but I had huge breakthroughs. Like the incredible thing that was happened for me is that at the beginning I was like, how can I stop the business? Like, how will I find solutions? I was almost close to burnout last summer, and
Mm.
I was like, I have to do more in order to solve the burnout. And I was in a place where I was blocked. Like, I couldn't really enjoy my work anymore. And I was like, I have to show up, and I have to make money, and I have to, do things in order to survive in the business. And to take a break was a big challenge, but the transformation that came after that, the clarity that I got, and the way my work shifted because of the things that happened in that break, wow, it was totally worth it, because my work became so much easier. And I wanted to also, in the chapter, and I think all of us did that, I loved for this book, I love the fact that we took concepts that are pretty much in the air, to say so. So oftentimes, spirituality is something not tangible, or is something that people talk about, or just ideas that sound nice. And what I love about this book is that those ideas are taken and put into real situations, into day-to-day life. They are applied. I think each of us gave like certain exercises or certain tools that you can take and apply them and see how they work for you in your life, instead of just, it's beautiful to read nice quotes, right? And get inspired, but a quote will never shift your life.
Mm.
Whereas a tool, a practical tool of something intangible, it looks intangible, but when you take it and you experience it, that's where you see the power.
That's right. I really agree with that. And as well, because the spiritual path and the lessons that we learn on it is such a mystery still, and I think a lot of us that have walked this journey, well, I don't, maybe I'll speak for myself, but it was, it was unknown. I had no guide. I just kind of fell, I stumbled, I made a lot of mistakes. I went round in circles. And it's only really like looking now back at it, my journey, and then speaking to other people that have been called on a spiritual path, that I can see, oh, there is actually some kind of a map, there is a process and a pattern. It's just I didn't know it at the time. So I
Yeah,
think the more that we can create books like this where we share our journey, and like you said, actually what that tangibly means in terms of practical exercises we can do, the more helpful it will be for people who are awakening, who are becoming curious about spirituality, or what their purpose is in the world. And hopefully they don't have to go through such a long-winded journey, or or experience the same level of pain or burnout, or or
yeah,
anything else that maybe we have. There's a reason why we experience these things, and being able to share them in a practical way is so vital.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm curious to know about your work. What is your
Okay.
chapter about?
Okay, I'll tell you if you insist.
Of
So
course.
my chapter's called The Radiance of Our Heart, and
Oh, so
that
good.
really my journey, perhaps my spiritual path proper, started with me becoming a meditation teacher of the spiritual heart, Hridaya in Sanskrit. And it is at the heart, excuse the pun, of really everything that I teach. So,
Mm.
and I coach. So I'd say the overall theme of what I coach is radiance. And that can have different aspects to it. It's partly how we get over our fear of being seen as women, and we become more visible. Um, which is a bit of a struggle, particularly often for women, I found.
Yeah.
It can be about how we connect to our own vitality and our own femininity and our life force. But at its heart, it's about our expression of our true nature. That is for me what
Mm.
radiance is. And for me, that's the heart isn't just this symbol, it is this access, this kind of portal, this gateway to our soul, into the love that we are, to the divine. And the more that we heal and the more layers that we shed are kind of blocking us from this connection to our authentic self, the more that we shed those layers, the more brightly our radiance shines. And so it's a feminine approach to how we become magnetic, how we become, alluring, not in a particularly a sexual way, but in terms of executives or coaches or entrepreneurs. We're trying to share our gifts in the world and shine our light in the world. And like you said, there's a way of doing that that can feel very forced and driven and like pushing and hustling, and there's a way of doing it which is much more receptive and relaxed and graceful and easeful. And so a lot of the lessons that I have kind of went on my spiritual path was how to allow this creative expression of my authentic self, because I blocked it so much. And it was particularly frustrating to me that I blocked it so much, because I worked in brand and marketing. I worked as an actress and a presenter. So in some
Wow.
ways, I had all these skills
Yeah.
to put myself out there, and yet I wasn't. And I couldn't understand that, for the longest time. Like, what is it that's keeping me stuck and hiding? And and I realize it is this kind of false self that we build up after trauma, after neglect, after not getting our needs met in childhood or as at school or as young adults. We create these kind of layers of protection, to keep ourselves small and keep ourselves hidden. And we're very, very scared. So I certainly was, of showing, of revealing our authentic self. And that's if even we can connect to it. I had to go on this journey of connecting to my feelings, my body, my needs, my
Mm.
desires, all of that, and honoring them, honoring my human life and body as much as I honored my spirit, that I was connecting to. And then having the courage to allow that truth to shine. And it's a big journey, right? It involved a lot of healing and a lot of different ways in. For me, I realized it wasn't just going to be meditation that got me where I needed to go. It wasn't just going to be dance, but actually connecting to the divine feminine, and the body and movement was a big part of it. And then I started, doing a deep dive into mindset work and becoming a hypnotherapist and working with NLP, neuro linguistic
Mm.
programming, so
Yeah.
realizing you can't just kind of meditate and reset back to kind of neutral. You need to then be implanting and recreating positive neural brainwaves. Um, and also, that isn't enough either. Sometimes we contain so much, emotionally and energetically in our body that we're holding on to, that doing affirmations or just rewiring the brain doesn't always, quite get us there. So in the end, I put everything together in the programs that I take people through, the Radiant Visibility and Radiant Leader programs, to create transformation, but in a very quick way as well, along with coaching. So I do something called Feminine Power Coaching. And that is all about how not to kind of burn out and hustle and go in this very strong, direct route, but to reconnect what power means to us as women, our compassion and our love and our receptivity, our intuition,
Our creativity.
yes, exactly. Our belief in life, our trust in life holding us, and this evolutionary impulse. And it's a rewiring, right? It's a completely different way of doing things.
Yeah, and I love what you said there about taking the body on the journey, and that for me has been big transformation because as you were mentioning at the beginning, I also did a lot of working at the mental level,
Mm,
working with through meditation energetically, but also working mentally. It was
mm,
the first part of my healing journey was really focused on the mental side. And for me, the big shift started when I started to work with the body and get things out from the body, and the memories, and the blockages that were there in terms of emotions. And for me, something that really changed my life was EFT. I had a very good mentor. I'm not doing EFT in the classical way. I'm using a more freestyle way, but it worked for me. And I combine that also like with commanding the energy at the end of the process. And I think it's a journey where no matter how many tools you have, you always kind of when there is like a big shift coming up, and there is like a big blockage coming up, you still find new ways, you still find new tools, you still learn and hear about new strategies in terms of healing. And I love that, because it's a journey where you never get bored, to say so.
That's one way of putting it.
Yes. And I also think, I also saw, and I'm curious if you've seen the same, but I saw that um, there are incredible results that people can have when they work at mental level and emotional level, when you work with the body. But what has been completely transformational for me was to see when I embody a certain energy and people come into that container, come into my space. It's incredible how before, when I used to work only at a mental level and I used to tell them the same messages, but they were not energetically embodied in me, I could make some shifts, but it would take me longer. Whereas now, when I like kind of like I went through the experience and I'm guiding someone else through similar experiences, the shifts happen so much faster. And this is, I think, the meaning when they say like be the light so that others can
Mm.
recognize the same. It's about this. So many times the the difficult situations, the challenges that you have in your life are there in order for you to experience them, to embody them, so that next time when you talk to somebody, you talk from that space of heart, knowing and guiding them, and transformation happens at an energetical level so
Mm.
much quicker.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think I notice it in the feedback I get from my clients. So many of them mention the quality of the relationship they have with me and my energy and the safety that they feel, and that they
Mm.
feel loved. Maybe they don't necessarily always express it like that, but that is also a conscious choice for me. I think there's something as healing and powerful and therapeutic about the container that's held. And like you
Oh
said, the
yeah.
energy that we hold as the practitioner that
Yes.
allows the person to transform. And for a lot of my clients, it's feeling safe to be seen, actually, particularly as I work with visibility anyway, but it's feeling safe to be seen and not judged, and to just be
Exactly.
held and
Yeah.
accepted and loved, loved for exactly who
I
they
cannot
are.
hear you, Dominique.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I lost you for a moment.
How? Sometimes if I touch the computer, I make a noise. So sorry, but yeah, just that, just to agree that it's a
Mm.
part of what I think makes it such a strong transformation is being held in a space of loving presence. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. And we feel that even if people are not highly spiritual or so aware of those things, I think that we all feel the energy of other people. Like when you're entering in a room and you're more attracted to someone and you want to stay and talk to them, that is energy magnetizing you and calling you. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you use EFT, and tell me a little bit more about what you how you work with clients. I'm very curious now.
I used to have a plan until last year when everything shifted, and now I started to read people's energy and to feel people's
Mhm.
energy, so I can like go through each chakra and see what energy is blocked where, and where does it need to where does the shift need to happen. And since I actually feel the energy, they might come and tell me, I don't know, like, I want to work on my money mindset, but as I actually feel the energy, I feel the priority, and I know that what needs to be addressed first in order for them to have the result that they desire. And I work with EFT in order to shift the beliefs at mental and physical level and emotional. But then I also do like transmissions of messages, and I take them. I can call this like meditations, but in those sessions, we go on a journey, and I actually take them in the subconscious mind, and I guide them to see the programs and to see what needs to be shifted. And somehow I intuitively know, and I think it's because I am channeling the right messages, so the shift is instant on the moment. And I also work with clients where unexpectedly they had past lives regressions, memories, and I also can guide them to shift the energy there and solve and close that chapter, because so many times what happened in a past life can still impact you energetically in the decisions that you make in this life. Sometimes you can still have fears from the past that they don't make any sense, and you don't understand why it's happening. And when we tap into the past life, you can clearly see why you are reacting in a certain way in this life, and you don't remember why. And the changes are incredible when we work at, I call this working at the energetic level in the quantum field. Because the time collapse, the logic collapse, the change is instant, and then people just like leave relationships, toxic relationships that they spend time in for years, and they finally have the message that they needed, the realization that they needed, the self-realizations that they needed in order to step out of that relationship. Or in the business, they have like breakthroughs. They start to see why certain situations were blocked, or why they were keep on hitting the same, for example, money ceiling, the same level of money time after time. So it's incredible how sometimes it's deep work that we kind of avoid, but it brings so much transformation and has the power to completely shift your business, and to stop also playing so small, because we are not here to play small. And especially as women, I agree, and I see the same pattern in this fear of being visible. It's because I think for so long we were kind of silenced down, if you look back in the history. And it's also what I also noticed is like there is not so much trust between women, also because of what happened in the past. So when we kind of clear and we work in clearing those things, you can see the potential of a woman. You can see a woman rising and unfolding in her potential. And I've been on this journey myself. I really resonate with what you were saying, because for me it was not even fear of showing up. For me it was not really knowing who I am.
Right.
So
Yeah.
in order to express yourself, okay, you want to express yourself, but do you know who you are? Last autumn I realized I never allowed myself to completely unfold to who was I beyond all the layers. I realized I didn't know. So how was I meant to express her when I didn't know who I was? So this is
Right.
another thing to take into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also find that sometimes it's by just continually showing ourselves that we get to know ourselves, but it's it can be a bit of a loop. It's only by kind of taking that first step and actually committing to writing and expressing in the way that we can, that our voice starts to form as well. But yeah, absolutely. It was such a journey for me to just connect into my feelings, connect into my needs, connect into what I wanted versus this, should paradigm, what I should want.
Yes.
And even on my spiritual journey, that kind of the spiritual ego hijacked that, I wouldn't allow myself to go for what was pleasurable. I'd have to do what I thought I should do on my spiritual path,
Oh, yes. Yes.
Um, and which again, so like all of that clearing that I had to do, and I think we do have to do, like around guilt and just allowing ourselves allowing ourselves to enjoy life and it not have to feel like hard work. I think that must be an energetic pattern that's quite ingrained in us,
Yes.
right?
I think this is the pattern we are here to shift, and it's coming up now. I see it more and more, like so many women are on this pattern, and they want to shift it. And I think globally, that's why I'm saying, like, the energy behind our work,
Mm.
we desire for that to shift.
Yeah.
And what you said, it sounds so simple, to like make time to understand what you want, and make time to understand what brings you joy, and follow the things that bring you joy and light you up. It seems so simple that people might like, yeah, how can that change my life? And yet those are the keys. Those are the keys to knowing yourself. How can you know yourself if you don't know what you like, what you want, what you don't like? If you don't have that inner clarity, if you cannot know who you really are in your essence, and if you don't know who you really are in your essence, you can't possibly express yourself in your authentic version.
Yes.
And actually, this is why we are here on planet. We are not here to be the copycat of no one else. We are here to let that be amplified, and let that be expressed, and let that serve, because so many times you and I are saying even now the same ideas, and yet I'm using some words, you're using your words, your vibration, the vibration of your voice is different than mine, and there will be people that will connect more with me, and there will be people that will connect more and understand more from you, the ideas that you transmit. So this is why it's so important to really be connected to our core and allow that to be expressed the way that it really is.
Yeah.
It's the only way forward, I see it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I, like from a marketing point of view, what I also see is, because I help people with, marketing and branding too, in a way that it doesn't feel like manipulation, or like so many female coaches and healers just want to avoid having to
Yes.
market themselves, because there's a disconnect between them and selling themselves, because they feel that that makes them inauthentic. And I try and explain it from this kind of energetically. It's branding is just about exactly what you've just said. It's just about allowing our uniqueness to show, because when we shine that out, we automatically differentiate ourselves from other people. And marketing isn't like something that you stick onto yourself. It's not your full self going out and spinning a lie. It's actually just the radiance of you. It's the authentic expression of you, but giving yourself that platform to do that, that opportunity to do that, so that people can see you and come into you. And that's all it
Yeah.
is. And if we're in integrity and alignment with who we are, and we know who we are and what we're here to offer, then it doesn't feel like marketing. It doesn't feel like selling or branding. I mean, it doesn't for me. I never feel like I have a sales conversation with anyone. It just feels like completely authentic. I express who I am, and if people resonate, they work with me. Right.
Yes. Yeah. I think a lot of people have this fear around marketing, because how many times it didn't happen. I know it happened to me so many times. We were approached by other people that you kind of have this feeling that you're treated like a robot, right? So they don't know you, they don't read anything about you, and then they buy these services, or check that, or do this. Or I think what is missing, especially in the online field, is for people to remember we need that connection even there, even if it's online. You need to build that relationship to get to know that person. And as you said, I think that what happened for me to shift this, because I was like, I don't want to be that person that comes in the
Right.
inbox and is like, hey, buy from me, and like have this pushy energy.
Mm,
And what helped for me to change was to, when I discovered storytelling, like when
mm,
you share stories and when you share from your client's experience, from your own personal experience, people automatically resonate with
mm,
parts of your story. They
mm,
resonate. It's important to show up and be visible because they resonate with your voice, with the energy you transmit.
mm,
And then that connection happens automatically. It happens instantly. They feel, I want to know more about this person, or I want to be more in the space of this woman. And that exactly, it's a complete different energy than the traditional marketing that was based on convincing and pushing, and it is this needy energy and people feel
mm,
it. And I think that that's where the fear is. It's like, I don't want to be like that.
mm,
And it's good to know that you don't have to be like that. There are
mm.
different ways of promoting your gifts, of expressing them. You just show them, and then the people that are meant to work with you and are meant to connect with you, they are coming to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the entire sales and marketing industry does have something to answer for in the fact that it has been pretty inauthentic just by its very nature. But yeah, it's all about that, isn't it? Just shining and not needing to persuade, and instead building relationships. I think that's key, right? Just showing yourself and building relationships and allowing that to take the lead. And I just think what I love about this book as well, I love um, the fact that it is a collaboration. It's a
Mm.
collaboration of women and man. I think
Yeah,
it's
we
just
have
one man.
one man.
We have our honorary man. Um,
Just to balance the feminine and the
yes,
masculine.
exactly. Someone needs to hold the container. Exactly. But it's so beautiful that it is a collaboration, and it is, we are all doing similar things, but it's just proof that we're stronger together. It's just
Yeah.
a different way of doing business. It's no longer, every man or woman for himself, but that we can come together, we can collaborate and celebrate our similarities and our differences and support each other.
Yes, and yesterday I was also live with Jessica and Eva and Adam, and I think it was Jessica who said, and I really like the idea. It was this idea of being part of a community and not feeling alone anymore.
Hmm.
Especially now, a lot of people that start to experience awakenings, or they are going through an awakening, or they are having challenges in terms of mindset, in terms of physical body, their health, or financially. And this is the book where you learn from people that have expertise in different domains. They
Mm.
come and they give you tools, practical tools. And it's a book that also kind of integrates spirituality into our day-to-day life, because so many times we think that spirituality is meant only for the morning moment, right? When you sit down and you meditate, and in the evening when you are grateful for what happened during the day. And it's not like this.
Mhm.
Spirituality is, it's part of who we are, and it happens in every choice you're making, in the way that you're feeling, in every decision, in every action that you're taking, in staying focused on your goals, everything behind this kind of spirituality. And I think when you see that through this book, because your people are going to see from the experiences that we've shared there, I see that this image of, yes, spirituality is actually part of who I am, and this is how I apply it. And they're going to start to feel like I'm not alone anymore. There is this whole community of beautiful souls that share their journey, and they can reach out and like come into our community and be held also there and connect with us. And I think it's going to be something really beautiful.
Oh, that's really beautiful. I love that. What a perfect note to end on. But it's about that sense of belonging, and yeah, for people that are new to the spiritual path or awakening, and with everything, all of the uncertainty in the world today, to know that there are other people that are walking that path as well, that journey. You don't have to do it alone. Oh.
So you're getting ready for Friday.
Yes, we're getting ready for Friday. Lelia, thank you so much. It's been such a joy and a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you for having me too, Dominique, and also for me it was great to hear what you shared in your chapter, and I'm looking forward to read it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to
To
reading more.
connect even more with your energy.
Oh, thanks, love. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.